Hello, we the people, hire and fire. Truly appreciate the time you give to listening to our presentations. This presentation has two agendas. Agenda 1, United People and Leverage. Agenda 2, we cover math and listening. We'll finish the presentation with a review and closing questions and comments.
Before we get started, we're sure you've seen some color applied to some words and phrases. We would like to briefly go over that. Green for the people. From all walks of life, who've been listening to the presentations previously and this one and others to follow, and get an understanding that yes, change is needed and we can do this peacefully. Blue is just life. Life statement, life phrases, things that we collectively are experiencing in one way or another, some shape or form. Doesn't have to be identical. Red is for opposition, not just government, but all the various sources that are here to just simply separate us, to keep the conflict going, or in our government, prefer to just continue to do nothing while we sit around and argue amongst ourselves. Those are the purpose for the colors. Agenda 1, United People. We will talk about unity. Leverage. We will talk about power. United People. Our definition, common unity, the act, state, or quality of forming from many walks in life mutual agreements to be achieved as one unified whole. We as people must have a belief that most people have principles, convictions, and trusts that empowers us as an individual that we must now align as common belief for the common good. In America, we can have the greatest gathering from all walks of life focused on one mission. To do this, we must have a tool to keep us focused. Leverage. Our definition, citizen leverage, is our ability to influence situations through collaborations that demonstrate we the people can manage our future. Can't say this enough. And think about it. One's way of life transforms when we are challenged by struggles and ignorance that sparks a state of bitterness, a state of division, a state of unrest that encourages distrust and hatred. Our lives in this nation has one common element. It's Congress. Let's come together. The ignorance that we are taught from anyone in your family, from any friends, or any ignorance that's been introduced through whatever sources want to continue to keep us divided. Only we as a people can bring change. We are a newly formed empire. Here are the tools. Distrust and hatred. If it keeps dividing us, we won't last long. Greed and fear. If it continues to rule over us, we won't last long. Any and all of these different techniques or methods, if you look deep enough, it's all about self-preservation by one or a group of any kind, any person. And when they use these strategies, any form of these strategies, any of these techniques are weapons. Our nation, our empire will not stand if our beliefs are better divided and conquered by persuasions. Therefore, to keep us balanced, we have a tool. Agenda 2, math associated with money. Listening being a power. Numbers. American spending and consumption within a year is in the trillions. American compassion for charities and not-for-profit, taking care of the needy, supporting disasters, and people who are just sharing and caring is in the billions. American greed to succeed, well in the billions. You've seen this before. American population equals 300 plus million. Question often asked, why 80 million? Let's do some math. 300 million minus 200 million. Not receiving this message from We the People, Hire and Fire equals 100 million. 100 million minus the 20 million. Those who receive, who understand, but have no interest to do anything equals 80 million. 70 million are engaged voters. There are 200 million eligible. The goal is to reach 100 million citizens and voters. This tool brings the power back to the people. Listening takes skills. Get to work, Congress. Here's your math equation. Unity plus leverage equals numbers divided by 4 focused missions equal forces of silent voices. If you believe money is the power, explain President Obama. If all of this is still impossible to understand, you cannot explain President Trump. This tool allows you to see what you can't hear. Let's review. The mission of the penny, unity, commonality for good. Unprecedented times require untraditional movements. Mission of the nickel, leverage. Against self-preservation. We know when we hear divisiveness, and we know when we're ignoring divisiveness. The dime, numbers, their dollars versus their people. For Congress, it's the citizens. For corporate, it's their employees. The quarter, mission, listening. The silent voices, those unheard. Maybe visual effects will get your attention. That's what this is all about. Now we must tell you what it's not about. It's not about the Constitution or religion. It's not about left or right views, and it's not about political views. What you should have heard is that we must find a common belief to unite us. We must believe we have far more in common with commonality for good. And what you should have heard is when we the people stand together, the impossible is unexplainably possible. Don't have to look back far. 2008, 2012, and 2016. One thing we believe is that all nations are transformable by the will of its people, even those nations who seem to have lost all hope. They should follow in the footsteps of America and see how people coming together, standing together, make things happen. We truly thank you for your time. We have some questions and comments. Are we responsible for our Do Nothing Congress? We're the managers. Are we responsible for Congress threats and shutdown with pay protection? They're our employees. Are we capable of coming together for untraditional move campaigns? Of course we are. This is America. Congress, how many citizens did it take historically to force change? Let's take a look at your equation. When people unite, it adds leverage, which will equal enough to be divided by a single mission, which will equal coalitions of silent voices. There's no movement that has everyone. We only need enough. Enough brings out the best in Americans. When we diversify our needs and our struggles, our needs is that Congress work. Our struggles is that Congress isn't working. As citizens and voters, what we need to do is make sure they're listening. And when they lose, or any individual lose the ability to listen, we bring in someone else who can listen. And when that individual loses the capability, we bring in another who will listen. Go to We the People Hire and Fire. It's all about our numbers and a call to action. No sign up. Your membership is using a move action. We thank you.